Hello and welcome to my guide to IL. In this series I will explain some of the more technical details within the game to help you decide what is best and to show you how to get the most out of every ship. Today's topic is going to be targeting. We're going to talk about how formation, target priorities and weapon traits such as direct and indirect fire affect how things are going to be blown up, so that you can destroy your opponent's fleets before they destroy yours. First up is fleet formation. There are 3 rows in a fleet, and these are the front, middle, and back or rear rows. Every ship in the game will fly inside of one of these rows. If we see here on the Taurus Pulse Cannon Destroyer, if we go down to its combat roles and press on these 2 tags here, it will tell us which row it is. The front row for the Taurus. If we go out, we can look at Wing Hussar. This is middle row. And the Callisto, which is our other main example today, is back row. See, back row. The main thing that rows tell us is what is going to get shot first. So things in the front row, like the Taurus, are more than likely going to get shot before the Winged Hussar, and the Winged Hussar is usually going to get shot by before the Callisto, however, there are exceptions to this, which is what we'll get into a little bit later. The next and perhaps most important thing is the target priority of a ship's weapons. If we look at the Taurus again, and we go into its weapon system, and we click on the weapon up in the top corner next to all of its stats, we can see its attack priority. This is what the ship is going to, what the weapons are going to shoot first. We can see here that it's going to shoot destroyers and frigates, and then it's going to dismally fail at shooting corvettes and fighters after that. I have noticed that most of these types of weapons that say that they're going to try and shoot corvettes and fighters afterwards rarely do. Only dedicated anti-air weapons actually do that. And if we look at the Winged Hussar, it has 2 weapon systems. If we look at the missiles, that's pretty similar. It's going to shoot at destroyers, then frigates, then try and shoot at the aircraft. But it also has this cannon system. The cannons, the cannon at the front has a much longer target priority. It's going to shoot destroyers, then frigates, then go right up to the big stuff and try and shoot down carriers, battle cruisers, and cruisers. The Callisto is also similar. It has its main weapon system, the torpedo, cluster torpedo, which is going to shoot at the big stuff first. Battleships, which we currently don't have access to, carriers, battle cruisers, cruisers, and auxiliary ships. Auxiliary ships have only just been added. It's going to try and shoot at these ships first. However, linking back to the first thing of formations, particularly with direct fire weapons, which we'll talk more about in a second, is that they're going to shoot whatever their prioritized ships are that's in the front row first. So we can see here with the Taurus, it's going to shoot destroyers. Because it's direct fire, I will elaborate on that soon, it's going to shoot destroyers in the front row first. Then it's going to search for frigates, and then it's going to see if it can try and shoot at some aircraft, which I doubt it will. Then it's going to see if it can move and shoot anything in the middle row, which is also unlikely because it's a direct fire, so it will just start shooting at whatever it wants in the front row. Then after the front row is destroyed, it is going to move on to the middle row and shoot whatever middle row ships there are, like Winged Hussars or whatever, and then keep going until it gets right to the back and maybe shoot like aircraft ACs or Ceres or something like that. Likewise with the Winged Hussar, it will do a fairly similar thing with its missiles, except that because they're missiles, they might shoot the middle or back row. So missiles and torpedoes are indirect fire weapons, and pretty much everything else is a direct fire. So direct fire is going to shoot at its prioritized targets if possible in the closest row, so front row, then middle row, then back row. Whereas missiles and torpedoes, more commonly it's torpedoes, but missiles do it too, they're going to just find their target in whichever row and start blowing it to smithereens. The Callisto is notorious for this, used for hunting down carriers in the back row, particularly for its variants, which I don't have yet. But it's going to pull out its massive cluster torpedoes, search for a carrier or something in the middle or back row, and just start laying waste to it and doing crits and all the rest of it. Winged Hussar has both weapons. Its missiles can do indirect fire, but its cannon is direct fire. So it's just going to start pummeling away at the closest ship. And that is same with the Taurus. All of its cannons, all of its energy weapons are all direct fire, so they're just going to shoot whatever's in front of it, try and look for smaller ships first, and just melt. The final factor that influences targeting is ship weight. This is a hidden mechanic inside the game that determines which of ships are more likely to get targeted. So, for instance, in destroyers, it would determine whether the Ceres or the Tundra is more likely to get shot down when the enemy ship is given the choice between the two. This is pretty much just a matter of trial and error. If you want to test out ship weight for yourself, you can, but there's currently no way of viewing it. So if you want to see which out of the armoured Ares 1 and the Taurus is going to cop shots more often than your back row, then maybe grab a friend or do some field testing and see how that goes. So that is targeting, all the mechanics to do with it. Hopefully that helps you. Please like, comment, subscribe, all the rest of it, and let me know what other things you would like me to talk about and discuss. Apologies for my slow, annoying, boring voice, but knowledge is power, so if you want it, you're just gonna have to deal with it for now. Thank you, and I will see you next time.